Hello, today I'm going to talk about sensation. Sensation is a topic not quite widely discussed by the therapist or in the stroke rehabilitation journals and so on. But actually sensation is absolutely one of the most crucial part of our functioning. So when we move our hands, there's one part is that the muscle, which is the motor function, but the motor function without sensation cannot work, because if we are not feeling how our hands are moving, then we cannot make it work. And quite often, because I work heavily with the upper limb and shoulder rehab, so one of the things I notice is that when I ask people to shrug their shoulders, they, if this side was affected, they might be doing this and they would not realize that this shoulder is not coming up until they see themselves in a mirror. And the reason that is happening, because their sensation is impaired. Now, the word sensation means a lot. What does it mean? If you look on the literature, normally we feel about sensation means touch and our five senses we talk about. Actually, sensation is more than that. In this video, I'm going to talk about mainly tactile, that is touch, sensation, and the importance of that in stroke recovery. But the wider research, now we are realizing there are lots of different types of sensation, up to 52 different types. So I'm not going to make it complicated. So let's focus on touch. Why touch is important? Because when we are walking, when we are standing, when I'm standing or when I'm leaning against the wall, I'm getting feedback through my hand and leg. If I didn't have any sensation under my feet, when I walk, I wouldn't know what is happening. Am I standing on a soft surface or am I standing on a hard surface? Because that feedback comes through sensation. So your therapist will, this is where we as a therapist, we make mistake. So this video is also for qualified physios, occupational therapists, and so on. So sometimes, generally, the therapist will touch both of your sides and I will ask you, is there a difference between one side or another? And then they might also ask you to close your eye, and then the therapist will touch your body part, and then you will have to point where they have touched. So that is called touch localization. So those two senses might be okay. You might not see any difference, but actually sense is like a tall high-rise building. Those senses, the touch and touch localization, is only the first few floors. There are other levels above that. So with the sensation, what is important, how the brain, okay, when we can touch it, feel the touch, our senses are intact, yes. But that sensation, when it reaches the brain, what the brain does with that, that's a completely different story. This is what you have to remember. Because you can feel it, it doesn't necessarily mean the brain is processing those sensations and combining all the senses together perfectly well, like before any neurological event. And if that doesn't happen, what will happen? Your movement will not be coordinated. So please bear in mind, because your sensation touch is same on both sides, it doesn't necessarily mean that your sensory processing is the same. So please remember this when you are observing your function, and something quite not right, when you're moving, it quite doesn't feel right. That might be because it might not be due to only the muscle weakness, it could be also due to sensory changes. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that makes sense.